Okay, got to record this video, make it quick because I have to run to my Korean lesson very soon. So, um, breaking down trades yesterday and just kind of talk about it. So, SPY, S&P ETF still in long-term uptrend. However, we have recently put in, a potential lower low with a potential lower high. So, also the uptrend was defined by sloping upward 50 period and 200 period moving averages, which we are now trading below for the first time in like fucking really ever. I mean, this is lagging. This wasn't actually the 50-day. We closed above it, right? Anyway, so recently we had the exhaustion gap intermediately. Traded down through Keltner, kind of going sideways at the midline. Is in this big trading range. So basically the thing is going to tell us where the SPY is going is below 231 and above 237.50. So we're kind of just trading in this range, trying to pick a direction, trying to see if the uptrend is going to still continue or if we're going to have a new intermediate downtrend. Big pre-market mover yesterday was a CBLI. So we'll let's talk about this. I mean, it was moving to pre-market. I don't have the pre-market on here. I just remember seeing it on the pre-market list, and I didn't pay much attention to it because at the time there was only like 75,000 shares that were done, and it had gapped up the previous day from, fucking like 30%. So I didn't even look at it, and so I guess I just got to look at all the pre-market movers, like just to check out all the stocks, because I mean, there's obviously volume being done in these stocks in pre-market for a reason, but the 30% gap threw me for a loop. But when you see that the stock's coming off a long-term base, you know what I'm saying? Like September, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7-month base, might be worth looking at. We get above the swing high, and so that's the setup. Is also a penny stock in healthcare. Oh my God, is it a fucking biotech? Holy shit, who knew? Maybe this had some recent news or something. Anyway, gap up. That's not necessarily a bad thing when you're coming off a base. We hold, break out of the opening range, and kind of have a prior resistance become support. So you could have bought anywhere in here with a stop at VWAP, risk 30 cents. If you bought in here, maybe 30 cents. Maybe just below the breakout level. I think I would risk the VWAP a little further away. So prior resistance becomes support level. Entry with a stop at VWAP. I mean, it's a monster trade for the day. And I didn't trade this because if I miss a good trade, I have to ask myself why I missed it, and I didn't check all the pre-market movers. So that's going to be something I'm going to do moving forward, just to check out their daily charts at least. When it comes to penny stocks, especially low price penny stocks, these percent gaps don't mean as much comparatively as like a $50 stock gapping up 50%. So that's a big different story. And then a hot sector coming off a base, I mean, that's it. So this is only one off note. Like HTGM was another one. So a good form runner, but kind of just gapped in the middle of this range. So I really wasn't one to fuck with it either. Maybe there's a short in there for somebody else, but not for me. So CBLI was the trade of the day. There wasn't much else that triggered. I traded X today, and I'm still short this thing because I didn't cover at the end of the day. So basically my trading plan is because I'm looking for wide range days. I want to buy on the low, sell on the high. Short on the high and sell on the cover on the low. So I'm going to let the bulls of Wall Street, ClickFund, take me out of the trade, as they will approaching the close of the day, especially with shorts. So I don't have to worry about my exit because they'll close me out anyway. So I can just kind of set it and forget it, and that's going to be my plan. So kind of wherever it gaps, I mean, that's the results are out of my control for the exit. So that's at least my exit strategy, because I'm only trading for wide range days. That being said, X is steel and basic material sector. It's pretty commonly traded name. So this thing was in like a longer term uptrend. Intermediately, it failed to go up at all-time highs and kind of had made this head and shoulders pattern on the daily. So higher highs surrounded by two lower intermediate highs. It had this obvious level at this 30.80 price. So the day to be trading this was Friday or Thursday, excuse me, which was actually a Friday session because of Good Friday. So that was the day to have been trading this. I think I was coming into this with a bit of, feeling like I missed out on this trade, and I wanted to get a piece of this since this was kind of a setup that I like. And so my expectation for how I trade is I'm looking for wide range days. So after 2 wide range days, probably a 3rd wide range day isn't so likely. So while I followed every other one of my pieces on my checklist, I didn't sell as it was going down. This wasn't a huge gap up. It was below major support. But really, what was my setup? There really wasn't a setup intraday. And the second trade I took was okay, but the trigger, price triggered what I wanted. But what's my setup? What's my expectation for the trade? Certainly not taking these momentum trades off the open. So what was my first trade? Well, we opened up. It's fine for a short. Trade below the prior day's low, so we're at a full Covell. But I'm trading this like a kind of a flag, like pullback to VWAP, which is is not my trade. So, I shorted right on this, like the middle of this red bar, somewhere like a 29.11. Like as price was going down, I shorted, and my stop was just up above here, and I got stopped out very quickly in short order. Now this is a different trade when we start making lower highs into the intraday low. Lower highs to intraday will start going sideways, so I did throw on a short at 28.86. So kind of just in this little like sideways, and my stop was up above this prior resistance level, so right in there is kind of VWAP as well. So I don't hate this trade. I kind of like that it's tightening up near the low of the day. I'm not too upset about this trade. This one is not so bad. So this is following a plan. This is has none of the bad things to avoid in it. Below major resistance, this is like at the opening range low, so kind of like an ABCD to the downside to the opening range low. And we ended up breaking out later, but we traded back up through because like we've come off of the move already. So probably had to mute my expectations for this trade. Anyway, I have to come back and finish doing my homework for the open today, but I mean CBLI was just that trade, and X was the only stock I traded on today, but definitely better than some of the dogs should have been trading, but still like not the best. I mean the next support was kind of like 27 something on the daily, so but this was the one to be trading today, and I didn't trade the best stock to be traded. There wasn't that much else happening, so when you don't do that, it's going to be rough out here for you, for me rather. So I have some good ideas, but the market's very indecisive, as we just talked about in the breakdown. So I guess a lot of the big money is just either wondering what not to do or whatever. Netflix does report earnings today after the close. I thought that was worth mentioning. And Netflix is just below the all-time high, so it's kind of an actionable level with earnings news coming in. So I'm kind of coming off of 3-month sideways. So this could be distribution. It could be a higher level base. The uptrend's still intact, so kind of see where that goes. Just kind of read the price action as we get to this all-time high. All right, dude, got to go later.